Everyone and their dog has their own opinion on what the worst game of all time is, and no doubt there are a lot of candidates that are deserving of such a title. But today I am here to make my case that SimCity 2013 is the worst game of all time. Now you might say this is all coming from the childhood trauma of having to deal with one of gaming's worst launches we've ever seen. However, I can assure you that the reasons I make today are legit. I am sure there are plenty of factors as to what makes a game the worst game of all time. For me, a game that results in an entire studio closing down, destroying a 24-year-old franchise, and getting displaced as the leading title in the very genre it created deserves to be in the conversation as the worst game ever. SimCity 2013 is going to be remembered for all the wrong reasons, and here is why. Just before I begin, chances are you aren't subscribed to the channel. Take this very moment to subscribe. I really do appreciate every sub. Thanks. Anyways, one of the very first PC games I remember getting my hands on was SimCity 4 Deluxe. This was in the mid-2000s, which was an era where The Sims dominated the gaming landscape, especially on PC. I cannot even tell you the number of hours I must have sunk into SimCity 4 back in the day. The whole concept of a city building simulation was entirely new to me, and for this game to give me a sandbox to build my own city in, it was just an incredible game for young Senseless to play. Then came SimCity 2013. The game was meant to be a reboot of the SimCity series, with the title being the first major installment in the series since SimCity 4. And during the build up to its release, the game looked sort of exciting. Maxis developed Glass Box, which was a brand new simulation engine with the intention of overhauling how data was processed and presented to the user. Visually, the graphics looked awesome too, and to be honest, even to this day, I'd argue SimCity 2013 vanilla graphics looked so much better than City Skylines, which came out a couple years later. But beyond that, well, everything that could go wrong with a game launch went wrong with this game launch. In EA's and Maxis' infinite wisdom, they decided that to play this SimCity, you'll need a constant internet connection whilst playing, even if you weren't playing online. Lead designer Stone Lebrande explains that the game emphasis on multiplayer, regional impact, and the use of a player-influenced global economy means it can only really work if everyone is online. Okay, fair enough. If that's the bait you want to make yourself and lay in, go for it, even though it's a stupid bed to make. But if that's the path they wanted SimCity to take, you'd think they'd prepare for it. Instead, the second the game was launched, EA servers were crippled by the influx of users. Most gamers had to wait at least 30 minutes before the game even attempted to join a server. It had gotten so bad that EA had to pause all marketing activity and try and offer gamers a free game on the Origin platform. Whilst trying to make the game more multiplayer focused, Maxis decided that rather than give players a huge area to build the city of their dreams, they opted for small square regions with the idea of forcing players to cooperate with one another. It had been 10 years since the launch of SimCity 4, and somehow SimCity 2013 had a smaller area for users to build their cities in. The game itself created a significant knock-on effect within the gaming industry. EA's policy of trying to develop always online titles had shifted because of this game. In fact, The Sims 4 was in development during this time, with it being developed as an online multiplayer title. This of course was changed to be single player. After a mobile release called SimCity Build It, there have been no more developments in creating a new title within the SimCity franchise. In 2015, EA confirmed it was closing Maxis, with teams within the developer moving to other studios whilst its head offices in California were shut down. Maxis was founded way back in 1987, and its very first game, SimCity, was released in 1989, the first entry in an iconic series that would eventually become its downfall. Of course, the Maxis branding continues to be used today, with the developer continuing its support for The Sims 4. Since the release of SimCity 2013, there have been zero rumours or whispers of a new game being developed within the franchise. Despite being the series that created the city building genre, it's insane to think that just one poorly released game has killed off such an iconic franchise like SimCity. This is why I think the game is the worst game of all time. It killed a 24-year-old franchise which has had no updates on its future nearly 10 years later after its release, and it resulted in the closure of Maxis Emeryville, the main studio of Maxis, which had been in existence since 1987. Honestly, I challenge you all to comment down below on candidates for the worst game of all time that could compete with SimCity 2013. Let's see what you all come up with. Catch you in the next video. Peace.